Sky Temple will be the map pick here of Ace, actually. Yeah, that's correct. It is going to be Ace who picks this, so I'm going to take map pick instead of ban, interestingly enough.
Seems like they actually want to force fight, have team fights. Let's see how they want to go against this ETC. One of the strongest ones to be used for GLuck. Greymane ban, they're keeping at that. When Relic... Well, not just Relic, also when Ace loses their power, really hard hero does not get to play onto Greymane, then it really became a different choice. Even their Hanzo was not perfect. I told you guys that at the beginning that they're having this weird scenario. If they lose Greymane, it becomes a weird factor. Sometimes they have to play some off-roll heroes, and I think that's exactly where GLuck is heading. Oh, finally
I hope GLuck first picks ETC now. No!
Hanzo this time!
I really wanted to see the ETC, man. Milky Way was so good yesterday. Well, they don't want to deal with Relic's Genji, which is actually just so scary, but I feel like it's not as scary as Milky Way's ETC.
Yeah, it's also throwing them. Do you actually want to steal our ETC away? Then we can also pick Tyrael. You guys choose, because we have Hanzo already.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this might have been a mistake for Ace, because they have the Hanzo. The Tyrael could be chosen defensively. If they don't take the ETC away, they take Tyrael. Sure, Tyrael's still fantastic for Ace, but then they get the GLuck gets the ETC that literally they defeated Miracle with yesterday. We saw the 3v4 to eventually 3v5 fight with the ETC and what he was able to accomplish. Milky Way, a star player on the ETC, probably, I know his post made to the top of Reddit, one of the most famous ETC players for foreign fans in Korea now, but will be taken away. So this is the natural way of things, but you know what I mean? It doesn't feel good, because now, like you were saying, Tyrael's there for the side of GLuck, and what will they pair the Tyrael with if they grab him, though, is the bigger question.
Because Greymane, they bend him themselves in a way, something else that you want to go in with, or else just build a super strong double tank in the front line and then have Hanzo and something else. I don't think...
What about Malthael? Tyrael Malthael?
Yeah, that's also good. That's also what they used before, at least once.
Yeah, and this is the go-to solo laner for Ace, clearly. Minus the Illidan game. They have been picking it every time, so I like that. You know, it works decently well with the Hanzo, but they're going to take Uther because of his flexibility, and it's also somewhat of a denial pick from the ETC. Doesn't pair well with Hanzo. We talk about this all the time. But the Leoric pick is a little bit puzzling. I'm not sure what the idea was that. This, for me, if I'm Ace here, I'm thinking probably a Jaina ban. You know, let's remove that.
I think they are definitely thinking of a mage along with Hanzo.
Like, it feels weird to show Leoric this early in the draft when it's not a must pick, because it kind of lets Ace know you're looking for a mage for your secondary DPS, and they can take the best one away with Jaina. Gonna take away the Anubarak. Interesting. Well, that means Jaina is open. The ban here is a little bit tough, because if you ban a DPS, then they take, you know, say the Jaina, they could theoretically take it. Then you're kind of limiting what your mages are that you have left. It's actually a really hard ban here. You ban a strong solo laner that you don't want to deal with Leoric.
Unless you're going to take Tyrael yourself. Go with the Mardale pick.
I like that.
This leaves lots of percent damage open, as an Ace did play a few Taikas back in the open division. It actually carried their team through the open division sometimes back in the day. So they are actually pretty comfortable playing with Taikas. Will be a great threat to Leoric and whichever else tank they chooses in the front line. Even Nubarak's gone now. If they want to do something like a TC Para with Diablo, or even a standard Muradin, Taikas is a big threat.
There's not a great hero left in this to camp either, unless they want to take like Illidan again, which wouldn't make sense.
Unless you're forgetting a few of the heroes.
No, I don't think we are. Like, there's not a strong camping hero besides Sonya, who apparently everyone decided that her nerf was so great that she could never be played again, which I completely disagree with. But that's what people are saying. Scrimmed it. She's weak. No one's going to play it. Sonya would be a good one to have, you know, camp control, and it'll be a strong solo laner against Leoric. Going to beat Dahaka for the global, which Leoric can rotate between lanes decently, but not on this map. The lanes are just too far away.
Mm-hmm.
Tychus, you called it way, way earlier, even when we had the Malthael bound hovering. It's a very strong pick against the tanky top laner of Leoric, and what's likely to be a Tyrael pick for Warrior. Even in Arthas really just doesn't make sense here. Johanna, I think, is your only other bet. Even Muradin doesn't seem strong in this case.
What are we missing? Zagara from NA last night?
No. Please don't mention that.
Okay. I scratched what I just said.
Like, yeah, well, that NA comp with like only melees, I'm sure it'll win. It'll beat Tempest again at BlizzCon in 2018. I'm like, well, we'll see. It is going to be the Johanna.
Mm-hmm.
And the Jaina that we knew was coming. So, blinds for Tychus and the theoretical second DPS that will come in this 5th pick. And Jaina was obviously going to be the pair for Leoric. His slows and obviously his Entomb later on work so well with her kit. So no surprises for GLuck, but
yeah,
will we see a surprise for Ace?
It seemed almost too easy for GLuck to pick up that Jaina, but are they going to get that kill? If Hanzo's skill shots missed like the last game, of course it was Ace playing that Hanzo last time, but it's really going to be very hard to pick up those kills. You can do all the damage, but there is some kind of sustain along with Stukov. Enough healing can actually provide protect the entire team.
Well, Junkrat here adds a lot of extra CC to disrupt Jaina's positioning. But beyond that, he has long sustained damage. Tychus has a lot long sustained damage. They have Stukov with it, so it's a strong, solid pick for the support they have. And the, the tank of ETC, who's going to slow and hopefully disrupt some of these combos. But Leoric Jaina has an incredibly high win rate. I think she's 8-2 at the moment, if I'm not mistaken, after yesterday.
Yes, I think you're right.
And
maybe higher.
Could be higher, actually. I know she was 8-1. She lost a game. I don't know if she was played in any other games besides the one I'm thinking of at the moment. That was a notable Jaina loss. See how this one pans out. In terms of the solo lane matchup, Dahaka can get a lot of extra soak that Leoric cannot get. You can try to control the waves and then maybe invade the camp. Milky Way going to have to play a lot more passive on this Johanna and he's not really initiating hero pre-10 like Nubrok is, like ETC is. So I have big question marks as to how Milky Way's playstyle will fit this hero because it's kind of against his playstyle.
Yep, and also Gamey has been known for his ETC play since the early 2016 Power League days. So I think that's a great steal away with even without the Tyrael. I think ETC having him himself, he can also play a decent ETC himself. So it's going to be a tough time for Johanna to go in and escape herself. Let's see if Milky Way it is his first time playing in. I don't remember him playing on Johanna at all.
Yeah, not even in like open division.
Yeah, not even in open division. Yes.
She wasn't meta then, but still. Like when he played I think he played one season of Power League. It was also not meta, so it's like not really a pick that he may have ever played in an official match ever. Not in an official setting for tournaments. Okay, stun comes through here, but Relic's positioned really well. I actually have to give big shoutouts to every Jaina player that's played this week in terms of positioning. We saw a lot of picks on Jaina earlier in the tournament, despite her high win rate, but now everyone is understanding the punish play is trying to come through. Jaina's always basically standing right under cannon towers every time. When you don't have vision, you just gotta sit back. You want to drop that blizzard and clear the wave, but
yes,
you gotta just sit back and let it happen later.
Take it slow, as you really want. You don't want to die even right before anything happens. That could be the beginning of snowball. And you should be making the snowball as the ice.
That's right.
Ice wizard. Hanzo, let's see. Their camp timing should be pretty fast with Hanzo pickup. Going for that redemption build.
Yep, redemption versus the scatter arrow. KCB just going to start this camp, remove the spell armor there. You can see this traded camps in the bot lane. Slight advantage for Ace, but not a big deal overall. Camp timing faster for GLuck, but this is going to be a pretty even matchup. Interesting that Uther will rotate top. Not going to be able to get a pick onto Rush with this composition unless Jaina comes, which is going to take forever. They're rotating Leoric south. This is kind of funny, this lane swap. They're hoping to get a pick. They're trying to bait this, but that was way too early, that stun. Jaina's not here now. Going to try to win this trade. They're not going to get a pick, but they're going to clear the siege, or sorry, the night camp much faster.
Maybe they were trying to push in at least a little bit, do some damage, so they can get an upper hand to the temple phase, but it's not going to happen. It was just traded well, half and half.
Yeah, kind of shut down here by Ace. Had Jaina been up there faster instead of taking the slower path to the top lane, I think could have happened. But they end up actually not only not getting a pick, but also losing the night battle. Then losing the experience bottom. In fact, they're about like 10% ahead in experience at the moment. Sauron is just going to easily be able to Wraith walk his way out of here.
And also Leoric staying against the lane with Tychus. It's going to be a tough matchup, so I think that's also partially a reason why they're changing that. Against the pokes of Junkrat, it should be easy for Leoric to just sustain himself in the tempo. And Hanzo actually just clearing waves, not joining into the team fight at all.
Yeah, just trying to make sure that Dahaka doesn't get a ton of extra soak. It might cause them a little bit of shots on the temple. In fact, they lost control of this for a second. But they don't want to let that soak overwhelm them. They think they can trade evenly.
Let's see how Ace wants to play in. They can have Dahaka coming up to the mid-tempo. I think after this 5 shots, they can easily go contest for the last 5 shots. Even more than 5 shots.
Yeah. Dahaka's heading up even just by walking. Maybe you're going to do a delayed brush talk after hiding vision. Here it comes. Rush gets the grab here. Onto Blue Beetle. Stuns. He's going to die for sure, but like they didn't capitalize on that moment. When Uther dies like this, usually you can overextend because Uther has burst heals. But that was a little bit sloppy there. It was pretty predictable too. Whenever Dahaka is missing on the map like that, you know he's either walking up or he's planning on doing a secret brush stalk. So pretty predictable move that GLuck just didn't see coming. And Ace is yet again going to dominate this early game.
Even with Hanzo, they're losing the rotation because Ace, they pretty much know that Hanzo can clear camps and everything else so quickly. Ooh, we got that power slide.
Yeah. Hanzo also did not go for the quick camp clear build. He's not building into Scatter Arrow at all, in fact. This might be the new Hanzo build. When his future nerfs come in, we might be seeing a lot more of this. Might be playing more like Vala than you can have a Merc player. Scatter Arrow builds.
Who knows? Maybe we won't be seeing Hanzo anymore.
That's true. I know a lot of people will be happy about that. I myself am indifferent. I'm pretty okay with him at the moment.
I'm pretty okay with not seeing Shimada Brothers for another year. I think I'll be okay.
Well, you're not seeing them too often with the bans that we see right now, but in this game, or in this series, we've seen quite a bit. Don't think the next series will be quite the same.
It's kind of weird that Ace used to just play some Jaina, some Gul'dan, lots of those traditional old mages, even Kel'Thas sometimes back in Open Division, but now really, hold on with the power slide, not really connecting with the silence. So this can be actually a big turnaround for GLuck.
I really like how Relic held his Blizzard, used only the Cone of Cold there, hit Gamey with the Ice Lance. They were really just trying to get the pick onto Gamey to try to, if they got it, do a better fight, do a longer fight, but patient there, not using the Blizzard early, waiting for the best opportunity. Well, gonna use it here though, so definitely not the most ideal Blizzard, but they get 10 with that wave clear. Probably gonna be Water Elemental, yep. Hanzo holding, but let's be real, the Dragon Strikes coming out in this game.
Oh it is God. Dragon Strike.
Why though?
Wolf, you're wrong.
Am I wrong? No, I think actually they're wrong.
I actually thought Arrow was the right choice. They only have Blessed Shield as a CC.
Definitely was the right choice.
If they had Ring of Frost, maybe to wombo combo, but
Overlord has done some crazy plays this season so far. And I'm talking insane plays, like highlight clip plays. I want to see proof. I want to see. Show me Overlord as the camera pans towards him as the Korean commentators probably saying the exact same things you and I are right now. I want to see proof. I want to see reasons.
I want to see clips, not the one that I told everyone not to clip that was on Reddit last time.
Yeah, I want to see this actually do damage. I want to see someone prove this to me. Overlord is one of the guys I look at and go, well, you know, it could be him. Because he does unusual picks. He's done unusual picks since his debut in 2016 Season 1. He has been a weird pick here, player who does weird heroic choices. This is one of those moments. Let's find out if he can control this boss with it.
Entomb, but let's see. They're trying to zone out with the... We actually saw lots of Dragon Strike as a zoning tool, more like.
Sure.
There's an
That's a
Entomb,
meme, but here we go.
Strike.
This has to be it,
Is
right?
it the time? No, he's not even going to use it.
He has to use it when they're
Gets
retreating.
canceled by the Dehaka.
Okay. He was going to use it, at least. We know that much.
Isolation onto Jaina. So Dehaka's buying all that time alone there.
Lens was good. Blue Beetle survives here, but... Imagine if they had a huge 5-man stun. Wouldn't that have been cool? Milky Way is going to die here to the Junkrat grenade. Sauron is going to go down here.
That was just purely the super play coming out. And Dehaka's already out of the team fight, soaking EXP already.
I get, you know what? Like, I don't like to use the T word, as people who've watched my broadcast a long time know, the tilted word. But I get a little bit frustrated, let's say, when I see these dragons, when I get these Dragon Strike picks coming through, and I still have poor boss got harassed by the arrow. But I still see these. I see these Dragon Strike picks come through, and like, but what if he gets it on the Entomb? Like, well then the Dragon Strike does 1 tick of damage, then it passes everyone in the Entomb. They couldn't even get damaged by a Dragon Strike if they wanted to, because they're trapped in an Entomb, and the Dragon Strike already left. I don't know. Like, the idea there, I think, was to try to catch them on the retreat, and that's why he tried to use it, but he was interrupted. I feel like in that moment, he easily gets like a 4-man stun. Jaina does more damage, and the fight is better. I don't want to sound like a Dragon Strike hater, but in its current iteration, and everyone's understanding of it at the moment, I don't think it's very good, GLuck.
Oh, let's see. It's only 9 minutes into the game, Wolf, here, as they... if they entomb Stukov with Tychus, maybe it's gonna do some more damage. I think that's like the best scenario for them, which is not going to happen too much, as Dehaka was basically destroying that team fight alone, stopping isolation on Jaina, so no skills coming out, stopping that Dragon Strike with the Entomb combo. I don't think even with the Dragon Strike, I don't think they were going to win that team fight anyhow.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Dragon's Arrow might have helped win it, but you know, these things we'll never know, because we can't go back in time and change the past. Overlord did a ton of damage to Witcher just now. Just gonna get out safe. That was scary, but pushing the limits of what Hanzo can do.
The skill's doing more damage than the heroic.
So that's definitely true, at least so far in this game. I think probably going to be the case in every game for Hanzo. So still Ace is ahead in structures, but they don't have a talent tier advantage or anything like that. They won that last fight, which gave them a pretty big advantage for a while, and that's kind of carried over here in terms of what Dehaka has been able to split soak and push. You know, they didn't steal away the last temple shots because they played safe. Boss is available though, and if they can force a fight once they have 16, which knowing how much Ace loves their talent tier advantage and disadvantage, they're probably going to really push for. If they could force a fight, take it, then you know, that's going to be a boss potential here. In fact, they're just going to try to posture on the boss to force that fight. Dehaka's trying to soak for that 16. They're looking for this 16 advantage boss fight. It's exactly what they're looking for. Look at this. This is basically saying, come fight me or I will take the boss. Relic gets caught. Has to be Divine Shielded. Good Divine Shield, but still, so much damage lost here. Okay, Dragon Strike. Kind of doing okay. Flailing Swipe didn't do them any favors.
Tons of damage here.
Yeah.
Onto the back line. Witcher has to run away now. Ooh, but that Odin in a straight line.
That was actually a pretty good Dragon Strike.
Are you sold on it yet?
No, but
okay.
Johanna's going to go down here. I mean, it was really well done. The problem was that they had to use Divine Shield at the beginning of the fight because Relic got caught by the brush-stalking Dehaka. If that doesn't happen and they do all that damage, plus the damage that Jaina theoretically could have done while she was stunned there and then Divine Shielded, then maybe they win the fight. But that was a really nice angle. Sauron's going to go down here. Not entirely sure. I don't have an answer for you on that one.
Oh, trait value?
I guess.
Well, this is the only thing I can say after watching that.
GLuck's got the top camp pushing, I guess. That's one thing they've got. The Haka went up after it, so didn't actually clear it. Temples are active. Could be a double temple here. Looks like it is going to be with the Haka going top. So double temples means that it's going to be very likely a dead keep for GLuck. Saren's trait value finally kicks in. He's going to respawn here. They're going to try to invade. Hero check the boss first as they move up. Okay, Blessed Shield. This is the engage looking for. Entomb is good. Where's the Dragon Strike? 20 seconds. Not available yet.
Yeah, but still they're doing tons of damage. May not be enough to kill Junkrat.
Well, Witcher survives here.
Jaina was a little bit too far away. Maybe rather could have done the rest of the damage.
That's exactly right. That's the idea.
Still, that was a very good engage.
Yeah, they're going to continue to be aggressive, it looks like, rotating down towards this camp. Not able to do it fast enough. It looks like it was never initially their, or never really their final plan, since Relic was using Blizzard on minion waves again. That's a really long cooldown. Whenever you see a Blizzard on minion wave, you know, like, okay, they definitely weren't planning on attacking, because he would have held that.
Now Moshpit is back for Gamey. And they are... Ooh, look at that party bush. They're trying to raid onto it.
It's really cool because they have control of this camp here. They have a camp pushing bottom, and they could set up a bush for boss with ETC there. They're going to rotate everyone up to secure this camp, though, since they know that GLuck is grouped as a 5-man, so too risky to try to split up. ETC could have died in that case.
I thought for a second GLuck kind of knew where ETC was and thought there was a 5v4 situation. They were trying to capitalize on that and go in for the camp instead, but they decided not because they weren't too sure about it.
Yeah.
So they ended up wasting lots of rotation time in that case, but hold on as...
Overlord took a lot of damage. He's going to Dragon Strike here.
Let's just shield before the mosh pit happens.
Interrupted that Dragon Strike as well by the Flailing Swipe, but Stukov is dead. Comes the Odin. Big stuns coming through from Milky Way. Divine Shield here onto Hanzo. Second Dragon Strike. Oh man, there's no way out for these players. Down goes Gamey. Rush in trouble here. GLuck turning this game around with a really nice hard engage here with the Blessed Shield. And even though the Flailing Swipe prevented the first Dragon Strike from coming off, that wasn't really the big story of this fight. It was the fact that Stukov was dead. It wasn't able to bio kill switch. This is going to be a boss now going over to GLuck, who've turned this game on its head.
And every single time Blue Beetle, even though he goes into the mosh pit, ETC tries to catch him oftentimes, but he ended up using the Divine Shield before that happens all the time. It seemed like a panic R, but at least he gets to use it before, so sometimes Jaina, even Hanzo can do all that damage in the meantime for the entire team fight. So Blue Beetle as a support, I think he's one of the better ones that just came up to HGC KR.
Yeah, he's doing quite well for himself. He's never... I think the thing about support heroics is it's better early than never.
Yes, that is always
never
the case.
Better late than never, but like better early than never. Sometimes an Ancestral goes off and it's like, oh, I could have waited one more second to get more value out of it. But as long as you hit it and it helps you win the fight, it's okay. And obviously maybe someone like Mary Day in the past or like Bakery, some of the legendary support players of Heroes of the Storm would always hit them perfectly if you're not that legendary player. Like, if you Divine Shield and save somebody, even though you could have timed it better, maybe it helps you win the fight. And he's never missed a Divine Shield. And some of his early ones have hurt them. But better early than never is the case in this.
Yeah, except for the Divine Palm.
Sure.
Yeah, that's too early. That's the only exception there.
Yeah, that is the only exception, of course. But what is Divine Palm? What hero is that? That's not a meta hero. That's not a meta heroic. We don't see that in Korea. I don't know what that is.
Only
is that that guy who punches a lot?
Yeah, the baldy guy.
Baldy guy. That's like Caldor's cousin or something. I don't know.
Hey.
I think the thing is Caldor actually shaves his head. I think Karazim just can't grow hair. I think that's the opposite, you know.
Well, someone's very salty tonight.
Well, I'm not salty. I'm just saying. I don't look as good with a shaved head as Caldor. I mean, I don't think so. I never tried it, but you know. Karazim, he's out of the meta, man. I don't know about that Divine Palm. I'm going to stick with my better early than never statement about support heroics here.
Okay. I'll follow that. Ace just hitting 20 now. Locking it both ASAP. Yeah. And maybe coming from the side.
Pretty early lock-in, but he just wants to be ready for it, I guess.
And that's one of the things we always say, that you can always be holding until you actually need something.
Yeah. So, Observer highlighting this again. Buried alive as well. Silenced on the trap members is going to be huge because you can actually
awakens.
You can actually silence. Dahaka, for example, he can't burrow, and then you blow him up, kill him with Jaina. There's a lot of things you could do with the silence on the Entomb. Sauron is going to have to be alive to make that Entomb happen, though. He's backing away now. Very careful play from GLuck here. So Relic's like trying to blow the swap so he can get out and mount out. Not going to overextend, not going to push for the keep. They already have the bot keep, which is why Dahaka is going down there to push that lane out as much as possible. But Dahaka's going to have to come back up if they're going to commit to this. Dahaka looks like he's about to brush talk in. Holding it. He's hiding himself on the minimap right now. Stays in lane.
The pressure because they have to keep down on the bottom lane. Game is going in. Does not get the camp.
Okay, huge bolt here into the mosh.
Jaina's so low into the mosh. Get enough damage and Jaina's dead already.
Oh, Overlord drops out that Dragon Strike. Did virtually nothing in the fight. Milky Way is going to survive here with his Indestructible. Not sure why he just took his hands off the keyboard there for a second, but his Indestructible is now wasted and he's dead.
That was a weird decision. Jaina going into the camp herself.
Yeah, that was a little bit funky, but this actually is probably going to be game. Redemption going to revive Uther here, but what can he hope to accomplish? Unless Ace just really plays super passively, can actually just continue to push forward, take both temples. Wow, they're playing so passive. I mean, sure, there's 3 alive for GLuck, but I think they could have pushed a keep, then backed off to the temples. They're going to take the safest possible play. Given that this is their best chance to win a series, probably an HGC for this split, and if they mess up the fight, mess up the keep attempt, then they lose the game. I guess this is reasonable. So now the respawns are going to come through for GLuck. GLuck is feeling great about this. Okay, we lost 2 keeps, but we might have been dead. Very likely we'll lose that 3rd keep. They're going to collapse slowly now north towards this temple.
They are at the bottom of the standing. They only got 1 single set off. They already got 1 more. Might as well just get a few more and try to come back into the series and win against GLuck, so they don't stay in the bottom 2 at least.
GLuck has to win a team fight, man. And yeah, as you say, like winning here would help them boost out of the bottom 2, but Ace in good position to do so now. GLuck is going to have to win to prevent that 5th game. They're going to have to not only win a team fight, but get like a team wipe. They push for the core.
They're looking for that long time overall, just because all the lanes will be pushing.
They're just going to try to force the fight at boss.
Ooh,
they have all their heroics. Redemption is on cooldown, so that's a huge factor.
And they have no idea. They're coming in way too slow.
Sauron is actually just kind of sacrificing himself for this boss. Boss is going to go to core. Sauron trying to get that trait value right now. They need to get out of here. They need to leave. Rush is looking for the grab here. Going ahead and using that isolation onto Uther. Does not have redemption. Has Rush overextended, though? That's the question here. He's vulnerable. Minus 20% armor here. If he goes down, it's a good trade. It is. Okay, Gamey trying to cut people off. Overlord does get the Divine Shield. Great Divine Shield again. Boss with 2 Merc caps. Pushing for the core. Going for the core right now.
Needs to do something or Hearth back home right now.
They can't Hearth. It's too late. It's too late. They can't Hearth home.
GLuck is now pushing Odin's back there. Relic has still did the damage. All the damage himself. Look away. He's way too strong. Hanzo with that another Dragon Strike.
This is a great Dragon Strike coming through because it just prevents
going down.
Look
at the shield going down. The number
it's
is
game over, man. Boss plus double Siege Giants and 2 catapult minions. That's game. Core of GLuck going down 2, but much slower. And GLuck is going to take this series 3-1. Sauron, the MVP, not only does he bait Ace into a false sense of security that they're not going to, that of course GLuck is not doing boss. Once they realize boss is happening, he prevents them from contesting. And then we saw the delays there. Rush coming through with the Dahaka, but in an odd position gets picked. And then from then on, the boss and everything else wins the game. Even if Ace had won that team fight, it would have taken them too long to do so. They lost the game anyways. And they couldn't Hearth. They needed to, as you said, but they couldn't because they were in a team fight and couldn't Hearth in that moment. So that was a great boss call. It was risky, but I think it might have been the only way GLuck won that game. And they did it. They executed it well. And they take the series.
Ace was way too passive at the end. I know they were trying to be defensive and not to make mistake. But sometimes when when you smell something, you really have to go in with your. If you're the back line, you have to go slow, of course. But if you have some CC, if you can protect your teammate and take some damage, and to Saron did the right job having that upgraded Entomb. Really stalled all the time. Even had to use Milky Way used Blessed Shield, so the Gammy could not even bolt in near the boss zone. I mean, they did all the right work. Having Hanzo, of course, helped a lot taking that boss.
Yeah, I feel like Ace just needs to work on their shot calling and need to be more decisive. Being afraid to fight. I was gonna say afraiding. They're afraiding a little bit. They're afraid to fight.
New
with,
word.
3/4 of 15 for a 16 talent tier. You get one pick in the opening fight. You have 16 anyways. Or you have to make this fight happen because if you wait for 16, it's too late. You've already lost the game or you've already lost too many objectives. Thinking, okay, we have all the keeps. We've won this game. Let's be passive here is not correct in this case because the boss goes directly to the core. They didn't clear the catapults that were in the bot lane. They didn't clear the 2 siege giant camps that were in the bot lane either. They needed to be decisive. And I think in these moments, they hesitate, and that is when they get punished.
That's the kind of shot call you need, and as a team, we saw that from the new teams like Blossom last year. They were super passive. They were waiting for the right moment. They were always trying to keep calm, try to really look for the late game. Back then, also Nazebo was the meta too, so they were really trying to drag the game. But in this case, especially on this snowballing map, you can't really do that. You have to really either go in. It was going to be the last thing before the game ending anyhow. When you have all the 3 keeps down, maybe they were thinking, oh, we have an upper hand in the rotation. But that boss with all the cams, I mean, that damage was going down super quick.
I mean, if they had won a team fight before the boss was taken or prevented the boss from being taken, then sure, they'll take some core damage to the push, the catapults and things like that, but they would have been able to defend. Then they would be able to use that catapult advantage. There were no other objectives on the map except the boss, and they were too hesitant to go in. We're sounding like a broken record. We're beating the dead horse that is Team Ace today, but they struggled to make those tough decisions. They will fall down in this series 1-3 to Team GLuck, who gets the back-to-back wins. Their win over Miracle yesterday and their win over Ace, pushing them in a more solidified position towards that number 5 spot that they want so badly.
They are climbing up as they're dropping lots of sets. Of course, they dropped that first game. Their Milky Way's first Nubarag was the worst out of the 3 that he played tonight, and I don't think he will be the MVP tonight. Maybe someone else, but from yesterday we didn't get to hear from him at all. So I do kind of still want to hear from him as he was having a harder time with Nubarag tonight. Or who do you want? Do you want someone else as an MVP tonight?
I feel like everyone wants to hear from Overlord again, but I am not really feeling it. I'd actually rather hear from Saron. I'd actually like to hear his thoughts on some of the shot calls they made and his decision to kind of suicide as the Orc there at the end. Saron's kind of my MVP because Milky Way, even though it'd be cool to hear from him, especially after his plays yesterday, which could still be brought up today, he didn't have the greatest game tonight. I feel like the player that has the greatest game, even if he's not maybe the most charismatic person to be interviewed, I think they always deserve it to me. And I think, to me, in terms of decision-making and probably drafting related as well, Saron is probably the guy today that won in this series.
We'll see. It used to be Relic as a shot caller oftentimes, but they do talk among themselves and throughout the team, have the entire communication going through, starting from the draft into the game shot calling also. But this game did not work out for GLuck at all.
It was a bit of a sloppy game for sure. They just didn't have the damage.
Look at that slow-mo, but still.
Yeah, the double stun coming through from Thrall's Wolves, or not stun, but root, that helped them out so much. We didn't see the end of that fight, but it was a strategic move that looked foolish to Ace. Ace believed they were actually doing the camp. Like, I'm going to get this easily, but...
Oh, that Immortal stun actually helped them too, somewhat.
Yep. Sank here comes up. Was really well placed, but look at all the heals coming through from Stukov, man. Well, I guess we can't talk about the major points of some of these fights, but Saron going to come over here. It has this flank. You remember this fight? The Sank comes through. Look at the weight here onto the Riptire. There's a ton of damage there at the top of the fight. This is a messy fight, though. As this is one of those fights where both teams are kind of making a few mistakes, but the last part of the fight is what changes everything. Like here, where Rush has no one to peel.
Look at those skill shots, amazing.
Like no one could peel Rush, and he's just fine. Milky Way's like, well, I'm out of here. And then we're gonna watch the Sky Temple fights. The only one that really matters is the one at the end. I'm gonna watch this one for some reason. Blessed Shield there, not the greatest.
They didn't have enough time to do the very last one, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we might
Notice
not.
the positioning of Dehaka coming from the side. Great Divine Shield when Dehaka was about to drag onto Hanzo.
And there's the Dragon Strike there, not the greatest one. We saw a few better ones, but we are going to jump into our interview now with our MVP, GLuck. It's here to translate for you guys. So
Let's
take a
hear
look.
it from Blue Beetle, from GLuck, the Uther,
어제에 이어서
네.
굉장히 재밌는
Stuka
경기를
player. Continuing from yesterday, you guys are bringing some great series tonight.
소감 한마디만 부탁드릴게요.
Let's hear how you felt about today's match.
저는 죽을 맛인데, 네.
I feel like I'm about to die, but still,
하다 보니까 굉장히 힘든데 기쁘네요. 근데
but still, I feel great after the match.
받았을 거라면은
네.
어제 받는 게 맞지 않았나 싶은데 오늘은
I think if I got the MVP, I think yesterday was a better.
아, 그래서
I think I had a better chance of getting an MVP yesterday compared to today, but I still got one today, so I'm happy.
미리 찍고 갔어요. 네.
그 어제 하늘 사원 때문에 그런 거죠.
아,
Were you saying because of your Sky Temple moment yesterday?
그냥 다
다
잘했다.
잘했죠. 네.
Well, not just that, I think I did overall pretty good.
좀 재조명되고 있는 게
네.
폴스타트의 광풍을
아, 네.
정화를 넣어주면서 그 세이브를 했던.
아, 네.
Also yesterday, about going back to yesterday's game when the Mighty Gust came in, it was too early even, but you were cleansing that too. We saw that at the moment.
한 80점 한 것 같네요. 네.
I think today comparing to yesterday, I think I did about
그렇게 나쁘지 않았던 것 같아요. 네.
80 out of 100.
20점은 이제 체력이 부족했죠.
What about the rest? Where's the 20?
부족하니까.
네.
그
I think I was a little bit too tired, so I lost that 20 from playing 2 nights in a row.
어떻게 팀원들 사이에서도 그런 게 좀 인식이 되고 있나요? 뭐 지크스 같은?
아, 네, 이게 좀 초반에 터지지 않으면 거의 장기전 가더라고요. 그게 뭐
How's your team coming? It seems like your team is improving a lot over the time.
좀 팀이 약한 것 같은데 초반만 잘 버티면 이제 후반까지 끌고 가서 하는 것도 있는데 또 어떻게 말하면 또 끝내기가 약하다고 할 수도 있고 좀 애매하네요. 네.
I think our team is somewhat weak in the beginning of the game. If we drag it a lot, it can actually get worse in a way. So I don't know what to say. So I don't know what he answered also.
네.
받고 있잖아요.
아, 네, 맞습니다.
뭐 스투코프가 벤이 되기도 하고 뭐 뺏기기도 하고.
As your Stukov is your favorite, I know, as your personal favorite on Hero League all the time. Even banned sometimes. And taken away.
전체적으로 모든 지원가를 잘하기 때문에
Not just Stukov, I'm good with every single support out there, so
네, 그러면 이거는 좀 궁금하긴 해요.
you can't really snipe me at all.
굴럭이냐, 글럭이냐.
Is it luck or good luck? Can you clarify that?
네.
저희가 굿럭이게 팀명이 잘못됐다고 건의를 해서 이제 글럭이 맞습니다.
And
처음에는 글럭이 맞았는데
It used to be good luck, but
저희가 해설하면
now we changed it in a way and we clarified it, and it is pronounced and called as GLuck.
어제 잡아내고 에이스까지 오늘 잡아냈는데
Not GLuck's team.
지금 글럭의 네, 목표 순위는 어디까지죠?
Where are you guys aiming towards? What number are you trying to have by the end of the standings?
블라썸이 있는 4위를
We're trying to go for that fourth spot, fourth place spot.
제가 이게 예전에 인터뷰할 때도 네, 곤다르를 때려야 한다고 했었는데 네, 한번 때리고 싶네요.
Even last time I said that we have to really climb up high to hit that global stage, and I really want to go there.
항상 직관 와주시는 팬분들께 감사드리고
Thanks to all the fans who comes and watch us in the audience.